So we are doing my hair. We are doing a pretty, I think we're gonna do a 50-50 routine today. So we're not gonna rake and shake my whole head. We're gonna rake and shake like the front 50% of it. So I'm gonna be able to show you, often when I have clients in the salon, I talk about the concept of the toolkit. Sorry, I haven't had any coffee yet today. Let me put a little water in here so it goes down. And the toolkit is your wavy or curly or kinky coily toolkit. And that is all of the concepts that I'm going to teach you about how to take care of your hair. By the way, if you're new here, my name is Gal, and I am a hairstylist. I work in a curly hair salon in Ottawa, Canada. My salon is actually located just outside of Carp, Ontario. In Carp, Ontario. Sorry, I just realized all this is in the background. And when you come to see me in the salon, your first time curly cut appointment includes curl coaching. It's actually a 2-hour appointment, and it really helps you learn how to embrace your hair and how to really get the same results when you get home that I'm getting for you when I finish styling your hair after I cut it when you get your curly cut. When we talk about the toolkit, I'm going to show you a full routine that's going to be a little bit more labor intensive. I'm from Denmark, and that is going to be the full toolkit, the full kitchen sink that you can do to get the most longevity out of your hair. But I know, as well as anybody, that while I want to show you the tools to get the most control, the most longevity out of your style, the most frizz control, the most definition, you might not always do that full routine. And that's why I like to teach that routine in the concept of the toolkit. Once you know these concepts, once you know each of these tips and tricks, you can pick and choose. I'm Irish, I'm from Dublin, Ireland. You can pick which of these tips and tricks that you use in each of your routines, especially once you have done your hair many times over many months or years. You're going to know which are most integral to your hair getting the results, because every head of hair is so unique and so different. Thank you for all the hearts, guys. So, for some people, it is going to be super integral that they rake and shake their hair, especially if your hair is transitioning. Transitioning hair has a tendency to require a little bit more help in getting definition and getting frizz control. And then other people's hair, especially if it's on the healthier side or less prone to frizz, less stringy, things like that, you may rely less heavily on raking or rake and shake method. So like all of these things are in your toolkit. I teach them to you in the salon to help you, especially with transitioning your hair, but to make sure that you have your full toolkit when it comes to styling your hair. And then every morning when you go to do your hair, you kind of can, imagine you have your toolkit in front of you, and you're going to choose which tools you're going to pick out of your toolkit when you do your hair. So this is going to be one of those toolkit mornings where I'm going to choose what I pick out of my toolkit. So one of the things that I'm going to pick out of my toolkit is making sure that my hair is soaking wet before I start applying my styling products. So I'm I did just shampoo my hair, but then shampoo condition my hair, and I didn't take any water out of my hair. So yeah, my hair is very wet, but my hair has a tendency to push water out pretty quickly these days. My hair has changed a lot. In the last little bit, it has gotten a little bit coarser around my crown. I still wouldn't really describe it as coarse, but it has changed. It's also become higher porosity recently. It dries more quickly, much more quickly. So what should I do if the top layer of my hair is more curly ringlets, but other parts are very loose? The rake and shake method, which I'm going to be doing a little bit later in this live, can be really helpful to create a more uniform curl pattern. It's not going to make a perfectly uniform curl pattern, but it can kind of give the appearance of a slightly more uniform curl pattern throughout, and then of course diffusing your hair. because when you're diffusing your hair, what you can do is cup and scrunch in the areas that are looser and hover in the areas that are naturally tighter. So again, you can do these things to create the illusion of a slightly more uniform curl pattern. But of course, I have to mention, uneven curl pattern is totally normal, and the number one thing that I recommend that you do if your uneven curl pattern is irking you for some reason is to go visit a hairstylist who knows how to cut curly hair, because a good curly cut should really help you embrace the unevenness to your curl pattern. A good curly cut should help everything blend together, should cut those less curly pieces a little bit, see if I get my internal math right, shorter, and those curlier pieces a little bit longer, so that they're all visually lying at the same length, and that way you're not going to feel like you're fighting with your hair as much. Does transitioning hair include hair that has changed to curly after birthing a child? The back of my head is where this started, but the front and side are able to be scrunched but not curly. Yeah, transitioning hair typically refers to hair that is damaged and we're growing out the damage, but transitioning hair can refer to a lot of different types of hair. If your hair is currently changing and you're dealing with those changes, it hasn't changed everywhere yet, and you're just finding it difficult to work with right now, or you haven't quite figured out how to work with it right now, rake and shake method can kind of be that stopgap, that while you kind of figure out this new phase of life that your hair is in, it's kind of like a cheat codes. It's your rosebud. You know, did anybody play Sims? Was it Rosebud? Was that the cheat code? Yeah, there's a lot of really great Facebook groups for curls. Absolutely. I do not use natural clean curly hair products. Now, I encourage everybody to be on their own path, whatever works well with you. I am a hairstylist, and something that I have found is a lot of the apps, like, I won't name any particular, but there are a lot of apps that if you actually educate yourself on the specific ingredients that they are demonizing, I'm not speaking universally to all of the ingredients they're demonizing, but like sometimes they'll be like, this ingredient affects fertility, okay? And then they will tank this product because it contains an ingredient that affects fertility. But then if you actually do your own research on that ingredient can only affect your fertility if you consume it, or if you leave it on your body for 24 or 48 hours all over your body, things like that. So it's not the intended use of these hair products. And so I feel that these apps are demonizing sometimes products and taking them out of context. And so because of that, I don't love some of these apps, and I feel sometimes that the clean beauty movements are a little bit marketing-y, because often just because something is all natural does not mean it's non-toxic. At the end of the day, there are plenty of natural ingredients that are not good for you to consume, and are not effective. And you would have to use a lot of not good for you ingredients and not good for your hair ingredients to get even half of the results that you would get by just using a man-made ingredient, which is completely harmless and very not bad for you. But sometimes are being demonized because of off-brand or off-label usages. So that is my take on that. I encourage you to do deep dive research into actual ingredients beyond just what these apps tell you, because I do think they're taken out of context a lot of the time. If something is being FDA approved, if something is being sold chances are it's not going to affect your fertility. It's not going to, it's different, of course, if you have allergies. That's not to say there's never exceptions to that, but I do think there's a lot of fear mongering going on, but that's my personal take. That being said, I understand wanting to use cruelty-free and stuff like that. Why do you think hair masks dries my hair? It's not damaged. Should I find without protein? Yeah, you're probably using too much protein. Let me see. Did I miss other comments there? It said I missed 9 comments. I can't understand how much and what to apply because when I use gel, it just gets all oily and greasy. I really don't know how to handle the curl on second day. Okay, so if your hair is getting gel or oily or greasy with gel, probably, this is actually a great question, and then we're gonna get into styling here. Gel is a heavy product. First off, you need to choose the right gel for your hair. Some gels are heavy, some gels are light. If you have very fine, low density, just hair that requires very lightweight products, you need to be choosing a lightweight gel. Diva Curl has some really great lightweight gels. So that would be my first piece of advice. Second of all, if you are air drying your hair when you use gel, you need to be aware that your hair is going to take a very long time to dry because gels make your hair take a long time to dry. You cannot touch your hair while it is drying with gel. Don't touch it. And that it might take, if your hair normally was taking an hour or 2 to dry, it might now take 3-4 hours to dry. That is just the nature of gel. Typically, it can be helpful to diffuse your hair to cut that dry time, or at least partially diffuse your hair, but you're gonna have to learn how to use good diffusing technique, otherwise your results are gonna get a little wonky, okay? I've got lots of videos about good diffusing technique that you can check out. It's not that crazy. We're gonna talk a little bit about it in today's live too, and this live will be posted to my Instagram and my YouTube if you want to just scroll through it after the fact to the diffusing part. Okay, other than that, once the hair is dry, if you've been touching your hair all throughout the diffusing process, yeah, it might be a little oily or you might have just ruined the results and that could affect it. The other thing is if the products you're putting under your gel, like the curl cream or a leave-in conditioner or whatever, are too heavy for your hair, that could also make it oily and greasy, and it's not actually the gel doing it. It is the fact that the curl cream you're using is too heavy for your hair, and that was being hidden. You weren't able to tell that before you started using a gel. It can often be hard to tell that the curl cream you're using is too heavy for your hair. I was using curl creams that were too heavy for my hair for a long time. Years. And it's only in kind of retrospect that I realized that. Okay? Really the only giveaway was that I was struggling to get volume. Now that I'm a hairstylist, I can see in those videos, my eyes are able to tell that the product was too heavy for my hair, but at the time, I was just I have great frizz control, I have great definition, I'm getting great results, I love it. But a dead giveaway would be that your gel is looking heavy or greasy. If you're not putting anything under your gel, then of course that's not what's going on. And then the final reason that your gel could be looking oily or greasy is you might just be referring to your gel cast, although I don't think that's what you're referring to. Gel cast can create a stiff, crunchy finish on hair. And that's totally normal. It does that to protect hair from frizz during the drying process. You're supposed to let it do that, and then once your hair is 100% dry, you just scrunch that away. Okay guys, let's get started. I just wanted to get a little coffee in my system. So, we talked a little bit earlier. By the way, just a reminder for anybody who's new here, my name is Gal. I'm a hairstylist. I work in a curly hair salon. Okay, we're working with the curly hair toolkit today. The first thing I'm going to do is for my tool that of my toolkit of skills or tips that I'm going to pull out for today's routine is I'm going to work with soaking wet hair when I'm applying my products. Yes, I just conditioned my hair, but it's not wet enough. No scrunching at all. When I touch my hair, I'm actually going to add more water, okay? I'm literally going to stick my head under the faucet to do this. Actually, I'm going to use a cup. Oh, it's cold. Okay, so I'm just going to turn it slightly while I put on my products. I can't understand how much and what to apply because when I use gel, it just gets all oily and greasy. I really don't know how to handle the curl on second day because it gets all messed up. It sounds to me like you're using the wrong product if it's getting really oily and greasy. You can start by just applying less of the gel. Oh no, sorry, that was the same I thought you were applying to earlier. Okay, so the products that we're applying today. So you typically need a base product and a topper. Your base product is going to be either like a curl cream, a primer or gelée, or like a leave-in conditioner. I'm actually using a blowout cream, which is another option, or an air dry cream instead of a curl cream today. Very lightweight. It's by Mela and Kira. It has built-in heat protectant. And it gives me moisture and frizz control. If you struggle with frizz, your base product should probably be a cream product, okay? So this is how much I'm using on my hair. I get a lot of frizz right here. So this is actually going to be the first place that I put the product. And then I'm going to work it through. And I'm going to add a little bit more. The Mela and Kira products smell so good, and they're a Canadian brand. And I like to be actually pretty generous with this blow dry cream because if you think about blow dry products, like they're meant to be used on hair that's going to be blow dried straight, and products that are used in that context, they can't be very heavy, right? If you're going to be wearing your heavy hair straight, it's going to look heavy and greasy on straight hair, so it's going to be a very lightweight product. Since you apply a lot, do not refresh it later in the week since that might cause product buildup. No, I'm using a very lightweight product. Also, I'm paying attention to my hair. So my hair can handle this amount of product. So you have to pay attention to the weight of the product. This is a very lightweight product. It's a blow dry cream. So this is literally can be used on straight hair. So it's very, very lightweight. The other thing is, well, like it's a medium lightweight. The other thing is, so it's meant for like, I wouldn't say it's for fine hair, although you could use it on fine to medium hair. I wouldn't use it on super, super fine hair. But also my hair is like, I have some medium to coarse sections, but most of my hair is medium. So my hair can tolerate quite a bit of product. Like my hair is like pretty thirsty. It needs quite a bit of product. I do refresh my hair, typically with a smoothing cream or product. My hair gets quite thirsty. Since you apply a lot, do not refresh it later in the week since that causes product buildup. Yeah. Like, product buildup is not an issue in my hair at all. So it's gonna depend on your hair. You really, like, everybody's hair is so different. I also am clarifying my hair on a regular basis. So like a product buildup with the types of products I'm using is not gonna be an issue. It's not something I need to worry about. But it's a very good question. I can already feel my hair is pushing out the water, so I need to move a little bit faster. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use 2 toppers on my hair. You could just go in with a gel if that's your preferred topper. If you wanna encourage your curl, you're gonna use a stronger hold gel. If you don't wanna encourage your curl, you're gonna use a looser hold gel, typically. That's like a hard and fast rule, but there are exceptions to that. If you have fine hair, you're going to use a lightweight gel. If you have coarser hair, you're going to use a heavier gel. Again, there can be exceptions to that, but those are kind of like hard and fast rules. I like a lot of volume. I'm going to use 2 toppers. I love these 2 toppers together for my hair. The first topper is going to be the Vital Curl Soft Defining Mousse. This is going to help me with volume. It also really helps my hair to clump, and it also helps a little bit with moisture. So I'm going to go in pretty generously. Oh my god, I'm getting mousse everywhere. I think one of the reasons I really like this mousse, or like adding mousse, one of course is volume, but also it helps the hair to clump. Like, that's one of the biggest reasons. And one more little thing right here and right at the roots to make sure I get that root volume. Okay, and then the last product I like to add in sections, if I can find it. And this product I'm so obsessed with lately. You guys have heard me talking about it. It's the I Create Definition Styling Foam. It is like, just if you're a product junkie, it's very unique. And really, I think anyone can try it. I have used it on pretty much every hair type, so it's very versatile. It's the I Create Definition Styling Foam, okay? Yes, it's a foam, but it is one of the strongest hold products that we carry at the salon. Very, very strong hold, comparable to a strong hold gel, believe it or not. You don't need a lot of it. On my hair, I only use about 4 or 5 pumps on my whole head, and my hair can tolerate quite a bit of product. So you have to be careful, because if you don't have a lot of hair, you would probably only use like 1 pump or 2 pumps. Now, is it going to give a strong cast? Hell yeah. It definitely can give a very stiff cast. So if you're not familiar with working with a cast, you need to be aware of that. And if you use too much of it, you'll need an oil to break the cast. But if you use the right amount for your hair, you shouldn't have that issue. So just, you can rein it in next time. Okay, so I like to do the bottom. Then I clip the bottom, and because this foam just like disappears in your hand so quickly, I do the bottom first, and then I do the top to make sure that I get foam everywhere. Because this is going to be my primary hold product, and I really want to make sure that like I apply product everywhere. I'm literally going to actually apply foam. I think I'm going to do 5 pumps this time. Because I really like to add a lot of it right here at this area where I struggle with definition. Right at my crown. I didn't use 2 foams. I used a mousse and then I used a foam. So foams and mousses are different, but also this foam is not a typical foam. Typically foams are for volume. and they have like soft or no hold. So the first product I used is the Soft Defining Mousse by Vital Curl. And it's for volume. It has a little bit of hold. It can be used as just like on its own as a mousse. And it's like so mousses are like a whipped cream consistency. You know what I mean? Foams are going to be more like bubbles. So foams and mousses are not quite the same thing. But most foams just help you a little bit with volume. They might help encourage curl a little bit when you add them. But this foam is not a typical foam. It's very different than any other foam I've worked with. It has a very strong hold. Very strong hold. So I'm using this foam differently. I'm using this foam as a replacement for a gel. And you can see I'm really sectioning to make sure that I get the foam everywhere because, like I said, I'm not adding a gel to my hair. So I want to make sure I've worked it through to every section of my hair. Exactly, I don't need a gel. I create definition. It does exactly what it says on the tin. It adds lots of definition to your hair, defining power, hold. And you want the hair to be nice and wet. I like to make sure I've added enough of like a curl cream or base so the hair has really good slip underneath. I find if I don't add enough of like my cream product underneath, I don't get like a good slip. Okay. And I can tell I don't have enough water in my hair, so I'm definitely gonna have to add more water. Okay, we're almost done adding product. That's the only thing about adding this foam is it takes a little bit longer because I really want to make sure I'm evenly distributing it. Versus gel, I can just like rake through in 2 seconds, but it's worth it. The results are so good. I might experiment with adding, I added a little bit more of it today. I wonder if my hair could even handle a little bit more of it. I don't know. I'm going to slowly work my way up. Okay. Okay, so we've added all of that. Now, I'm literally just going to rake my hair all forward. And so I don't want to rake and shake my whole head. So now I'm going to just rake a little bit of water into my hair. Not a ton because I don't want to lose too much product out of my hair. I'm more mindful about not losing product out of my hair when I use the foam and the mousse than when I use gel. Gel is very like water grabbing, so it's not going to rinse out of your hair as easily. I'm more nervous about that with this foam and mousse. But I do need more water so my hair will clump. And I don't want to rake and shake my whole head. So that's what we're going to do right now. I might even use a Mr. water bottle. So let me see if I can find one. Here's one. Okay. So the idea here is if I'm not going to rake and shake my whole head. So, okay, so what have we pulled out of the toolkit so far? My nails. We applied products to soaking wet hair so that they would evenly distribute and help control frizz. Then we had, then we applied styling products. I applied a base product and a topping product. Now I'm adding more water as a kind of toolkit item to help control frizz and clump the hair. So again, these are all what I call tools in your toolkit, things that you know are going to help you achieve your goals. You always get to choose what you pick out of your toolkit every time you do your hair. So if I'm not going to rake and shake my whole head, I still have all the other tools that are in my toolkit. Okay, there we go. So the hair is clumping beautifully. The mousse and the eye create definition do such a good job together at helping the hair to clump. So now I'm just gonna kind of rake it until I like how everything is falling. Woo! Make sure the back of my head is lifted off of my head and falling away and not hitched. I might even take a diamond brush. Just to smooth everything. You don't need to use a diamond brush like for this, literally any brush. Just, any brush just to clump the hair together. And you see it, literally I'm just brushing through. So the idea being, literally I'm just brushing through to help all the hair to clump together. And now brushing, doing the same thing kind of up the back, brushing the hair kind of up and away from the head. Okay. Anywhere that I see the hair being a little bit stringy, I'm just gonna add a little bit more water. And I'm noticing there's one area here where the hair is a little bit stringy and it's in between sections. So I just wanna make sure that it got enough eye create definition. Okay, so now I'm going to scrunch my hair upside down. So I've basically skipped the rake and shake method. What I like to do is kind of leave the rake and shake method for the very end, where I'm going to kind of see how the top section is lying, and I'll rake and shake the pieces that are lying a little bit wonky, okay? So, one second, I've got a battery dying here. Here we go. Okay. I'm literally just going to flip my hair upside down. And I'm going to start by taking my hands and very gently scrunching the product into my scrunching the product into my hair with my hands. Wow, that was difficult. Okay. Do. I'm lifting it up off the back of my head. Now, you don't want to over scrunch at this step because you'll break up all of your curl clumps and you'll start to create frizz. Something you want to be very mindful of is that your hair is extremely fragile when it's wet. So every single time you touch your hair while it's wet, you're creating a little bit more frizz. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that I see people making is over scrunching their hair. Now I say mistakes. If you like the results that you're getting when you do that, then it's not a mistake. But if you're doing that and you find your hair is getting too frizzy or stringy, then you can dial that back. Scrunch just a few times instead of scrunching. And then, so I start with my hands. And then today I'm going to switch to a microfiber towel. Again. And I very gently, and this is called micro-plopping. So micro-plopping is when you take something other than a terry cloth towel, typically either a t-shirt or a microfiber towel. The reason you don't use terry cloth is just because it creates more friction, so it's a little bit frizzier. If a terry cloth is all you have, that's fine, but I would prefer to use a t-shirt. That's typically my preferred option, but I just got this for Christmas. Okay. And you can see that's it. So that's micro-plopping. So it's going to give you the same results as plopping with a t-shirt, more or less, but in a whole lot less time. So the idea here is we've been able to encourage the curl pretty much right up to the root. We've created some pretty good curl definition, some nice curl clumps throughout the hair without creating too much frizz. Now, what I want to do is rake and shake pretty much this top layer of my head, just to give it a little bit more control. It's so dark in here. A little bit better. Okay, so I've just taken a Denman brush. So the reason I like to scrunch first is it kind of gives me a sense of like where things are lying, what I want to rake and shake, and what I'm already happy with. So for sure, I want to rake and shake. Like I don't like how that is lying. But you could definitely just diffuse from here if you wanted to. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just like a bit of a perfectionist. And I know I'll get more longevity out of the style if I like make this like very top section kind of perfect ringlets. I'll just be happier with the final result. But you could absolutely just go straight into diffusing from here. Okay, so I'm going to basically clip off the sections that I want to style. So you can rake and shake them, or I'll probably brush style them. Okay, so these are the two sections that I'm going to brush style, and it's just going to give me like a slightly more controlled like curl pattern in those areas. The first thing I know that I'm going to need to do is add water back into these sections. So I literally just ran the faucet for a second. Then I'm going to take a brush, and since these are relatively small sections, it won't take very long for me to just Denman brush curl just these top sections. Now, for my hair, one of the reasons I choose these sections, one of them is because my curl pattern doesn't go all the way up to the root in these sections. So by brush curling, I can give it to the, or finger curling, whatever you like to call the technique. I can give it the illusion that the curl pattern starts a little closer to the root and is slightly curlier. That's one of the reasons I like to do this. One of the other reasons, it helps to smooth the frizz a little bit better in these sections. It gives me a little bit more lift in these areas. And it helps to make sure that I don't have like any wonky curls in these areas, or really I naturally have waves in these areas, versus my curl in a lot of the other, or my curl pattern in a lot of the other areas of my head is actually more of a spiral, and on this part of my head, it is definitely more of an S wave. So the uneven curl pattern throughout my head, this can give it more of an illusion of a slightly more even curl pattern. So that's a lot of the reasons that I choose to do that just in this top area of my head, at least when we talk about that like toolkit. Okay, so here's how I do the diamond brush curls. I'm going to take the brush, I have it pointed downward at a downward angle like that. I put it through the bristles one time, and I'm just going to start rotating the brush. And then I just start to unwind. Now, can you do a finger curl instead? Absolutely, and some people are gonna find that much easier. My hair is naturally very frizzy, so this is going to brush and coil at the same time, which is gonna help me control frizz a little bit better. It's also gonna give me a slightly wider curl, which matches my curl pattern better. For me, this is better and I'm just as fast, but you can do whatever works best for you, or you don't have to do this. This is not necessary. Okay. Rake and shake method is much faster if you're looking for something just to add definition and not necessarily enhance your curl, which is what I'm really doing in these sections here. I'm putting my brush at a downward angle like this, and then I'm just going to start rotating the brush. It's hard to do when I'm, oh my god, you can tell I'm out of practice. I used to do my whole head like this. I don't even do this technique very much anymore. Okay. So I'm brushing with the brush at a downward angle. I put the bristles through one time, start pulling down, and then you're just gonna wrap around the handle, okay? The last time I did the diamond brush curls, my hair was much longer, so I'm adjusting to doing it on shorter hair. Something to note about diamond brush curls, whatever size brush curl you do now, it's going to keep reforming into. Some people like to try and like save time by just doing a few very large brush curls on their head. It's not going to save you time in the sense that you are then going to spend the next few days constantly 17 million times a day trying to break up those brush curls. So seriously, you just need to make the brush curls the size that you want them to be right off the bat. Otherwise, it's going to drive you absolutely bananas. You cannot, once they're dry, that is going to be the size that they are always going to be. They're constantly going to reform to be that size. So if you want them to be smaller, you got to make them smaller right off the bat. It's so interesting how much your hair can really change over time. Like I talk about this with my clients all the time, especially going through pregnancy, going through like hormone changes and stuff like that, but like I haven't gone through anything like that. However, man, the texture of my hair has really changed in the last few years. I don't know if anybody else has dealt with that, but like my hair used to be all very silky and like medium, like not coarse, not fine, and the texture of my hair has really changed. I now have some like quite coarse pieces right at the crown of my head, and I wonder if it's because I'm starting to go gray there. I don't know. Any suggestions for fine hair needing stronger hold but lightweight products? I don't recommend products in my lives. If you're new here, you might not know that yet. But the reasons for that is because I can't recommend products effectively without knowing a ton of stuff about you, about your hair. But I can tell you generically, one of the products that I used on my hair today that is light, so like I don't know if this is right for your hair, but I used it today on my hair. I Create Definition is a foam. It is very lightweight because it's a foam, but it is an extra stronghold product. It is great for a lot of different hair types, but it creates an extremely strong cast. If you don't have a lot of hair, you might only need one pump. Now, you don't use it on its own typically. You would use it over a curl cream, a very lightweight curl cream, so you'd have to use like a weightless curl cream on fine hair probably. Or a gelée or something like that. And it's by InnerSense. InnerSense is honestly fantastic products. I love InnerSense. Like, I use them on so many clients. It has taken me a while to like understand how to use their products. I think there is a bit of a learning curve to understand which of their products do what. But yeah, their products are fantastic. The thing with the InnerSense products is especially I think if your hair is on the finer side, you'll probably need to cocktail their products together. And you need to be careful to use the right ones of their products. Like their gel is quite heavy. So you probably don't want to use their gel if you have very fine hair. Which I know a lot of people when they try a new line, they immediately reach for the gel. But so you'll want to like do your research, learn about how to use which other products, because there can be a learning curve, and I know that. It made my hair look wet. It was terrible. I need to know how to use it. So making your hair look wet, do you mean the cast? Do you know what I mean when I say cast? A gel cast, which a lot of their products will create and are supposed to, is like kind of a stiff, wet look to the hair that you're supposed to scrunch away once the hair is 100% dry. And it's intentional. It's there to protect your hair. The cast didn't break up. You used too much of the product. Probably. Like, did you use I Create Definition? Out of curiosity, was that because you were using I Create Definition? Yeah, so Nelly, this foam, you might have only needed one pump. Some people, I'm a stylist, so I work with this product. There is some people's hair, I cocked it, so I don't use it, I don't always use it on its own. There's some people, maybe I mix this with I Create Volume, if they only need really lightweight products on their hair. I might, okay, if you're fine, very low density, I don't know specifically for your hair, but maybe I would use, I'm trying to think what products they have in the lineup. The blowout cream, what's it called? Sweet Serenity, a little bit of the Sweet Serenity, is that what it's called? The Serenity blowout cream, just a very small amount of that, just a little bit. And then maybe a little bit of the I Create Volume, just a small amount, or maybe just this Serenity blowout cream and then maybe this, but you might only need one pump. One pump, that's it. And people go in because it's a foam and they think they can do 3 or 4 pumps. On my head, I used 5 pumps. And my hair can handle a lot of product. So if you, someone with fine low density hair, used 3 or 4 pumps, or 5 or 6 pumps, your cast is not going to break. It's going to be completely stiff. So there's a learning curve with this product, and I think a lot of people don't like it because of that, but really it is a great product, but it is very strong hold. It will probably create a cast. It's supposed to. It's an extra strong hold product. You're going to get a stiffness from it probably, but just once the hair, it should scrunch away if you're using the right amount of the product. Okay. So Now, okay, we've done that. I'm gonna stretch it one more time. And now I just want to see what's going on in the back of my head. Because man, I have been struggling with the back of my head lately, as I'm sure a lot of you know. But I've been having better luck lately, just paying more attention to it. Yes, see? It's gonna be stringy if I leave it like this. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm adding water. So just so you know, this is what I'm looking at right now. Do you see how it's like, I don't know, I just added water, so maybe it's looking better. But it's looking like, or it was looking frizzy 10 seconds ago. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of water. And I break it into very small individual clumps. See if that's looking any better. Oh, it's already so much better. Now I'll just get the layer below that. And then we should be good from there. But that's very much the section that gets frizzy. But I find I really need to be mindful of that one little area. It always gets frizzy. Okay. I think my hair is thinning back there. Yeah. That's fun. Love that for me. Okay, time to start diffusing. So typically I hover diffuse for a little bit, but I kind of feel like my hair is already drying, so I think I'm gonna go straight into pixie diffusing today. When it comes to diffusing, there's two main techniques. The first technique is hover diffusing. When I hover diffuse, as long as you have heat protectant on, I'll use a high heat, because hover diffusing, you're holding the diffuser 8 to 10 centimeters away from the hair. Oh, thank you. And by the time the heat actually reaches your hair, you're not going to damage the hair. So the reason you hover diffuse, it does not encourage your curl pattern. If you find this helpful, by the way, guys, don't forget to share the live or hit that like button. It helps me out a lot. If you're new here, my name's Val. I'm a hairstylist. I work in Ottawa, Canada. So, two main diffusing techniques. The first one being hover diffusing. It does not encourage your curl pattern, but it creates the least amount of frizz, right? The other, I'm not going to do too much of this today, but there are definitely some people out there who are going to entirely hover diffuse their hair. If your hair is already, if it's not one of their goals to encourage their curl pattern, and their hair is naturally very frizzy, they might hover diffuse the entire time. Maybe not upright the whole time, maybe you'll flip your hair from side to side a little bit to get that lift at the roots. But you might, unless your hair naturally already has a lot of lift at the roots, like if volume's not an issue, you might just hover diffuse like this the entire time. Get under there, make sure it gets up, and you might hover diffuse the whole time. But if you want to encourage your curl, you're probably going to want to pixie diffuse, okay? So, the first technique is hover diffusing. The second technique is pixie diffusing. Pixie diffusing Today, I'm going to go straight to pixie diffusing. Because I use a mousse and a foam instead of a gel, my hair is drying real fast. So I'm going to switch away from a high heat. I'm actually going to switch right to my Life-In heat cycling mode. This is why I love my Life-In. It has a heat cycling mode that goes between a low heat and a high heat. Then I'm going to lower the hair into the mouth of the diffuser, and I'm going to cup the hair. So the benefit of pixie diffusing is that it actually encourages the curl pattern. Now, if you pixie diffuse, but you move the diffuser every 2 or 3 seconds, chances are you are going to create a ton of frizz. Okay? Remember, your hair is extremely fragile when it's wet. So every time you move the diffuser or touch your hair, you're creating a little bit more frizz. So you want to minimize how much you move the diffuser. But how much do you actually move the diffuser? Like how long should you hold your position? And the difference is actually going to be a little bit different depending on how quickly your hair dries. So if you're somebody whose hair dries when you diffuse your hair in 15 minutes, like your hair dries really fast when you diffuse your hair, you might only hold pixie diffusing positions for like 8 to 10 seconds because 8 seconds in one position is going to almost entirely dry that spot. But if you're somebody who's diffusing your hair takes 45 minutes or more, then you're probably going to want to hold positions for like 20 to even 30 seconds. Otherwise, your hair is going to start to get frizzy. So you're going to have to make a little bit of a judgment call. So when you're seeing how long I'm holding positions, I don't want you to just mimic this and do exactly that on your hair. I want you to think for yourself, how long does my hair take to dry at home? And I want you to adjust how long you're pixie diffusing based on that. Does my hair dry super quickly when I diffuse it, or does it take a little bit longer? My hair takes about, based on the product that I'm using, it's probably going to take about, I'd say 25 minutes to diffuse. And I'm holding positions for about 15 seconds. Now, I usually cover diffuse before I pixie diffuse, and that will give me a little bit less frizz, but lately, one of my big goals is volume, and I have stopped using gel, and I'm using mousse and a stronghold foam called I Create Definition instead, so my hair has been drying much faster, and since volume is one of my big goals, I'm okay with a little bit of frizz. So I'm going straight in with pixie diffusing. So it's all going to be about what your goals are. Okay, so we're back at our curl toolkit. Some of the tools that we pulled out of our curl toolkit today. We applied our product to soaking wet hair. We applied a base product and a topper product. We micro-plopped our hair. We added more water to our hair after we applied our product in order to help control frizz and to clump the hair, right? Then we used a Denman brush to add definition to the top layer of our hair. Then we micro-plopped. So these are all tools that we used out of our toolkit in today's routine. Now we're using pixie diffusing. That's another tool that we're using out of our toolkit today. So I often get asked what my routine is or what products I use, and the truth is I don't have one fixed routine or one fixed product. I have this toolkit that I draw on every time I want to style my hair, depending on what I want my outcome to be, depending on how long I want my routine to be. Can you recommend a different brush that's not as expensive? To be honest, I used a regular paddle brush for a very long time. I would look into your cupboard, look at what you have. It depends on the technique that you're planning on using it for. But like if you're just brushing to smooth the frizz, just use a paddle brush. Just so you know, that's not to say a Denman brush isn't great. Like, I love my Denman brush. I have two. I do think they're fantastic. They add a lot of resistance to the hair, which helps the hair to clump very nicely. Everybody's hair is going to have different needs. If your hair naturally has a lot of slip, it can be helpful to have something like a Denman brush that's going to have a little bit of resistance, okay? Have I tried the tangle teaser? Yes, but that's a detangling brush, okay? The only time I would use a tangle teaser for styling would be for someone whose hair naturally already has a lot of resistance, like their hair has no slip, it's very rough. Like maybe, and what I mean by that is like maybe their hair has been lightened a lot, so their hair is like hard to detangle, hard to brush. So during the styling step, you don't want to use something that's going to add resistance to their hair. But there's usually two different types of brushes that as a wavy or a curly or cheeky coily girl you would want to have. One of them would be your detangling brush, something like a tangle teaser or something like that. And the other one is your styling brush. Two different brushes. This is A to Z. My name is Val. I'm a hairstylist. I don't actually recommend products in my life. Because knowing that your hair is 2C is not enough not enough information for me to be able to make a good recommendation and feel good about you spending money on it. When clients come in to see me in the salon, I make an assessment based on a huge number of factors, including their hair type, the condition of their hair, what their hair goals are, some of the product lines that I love. The brand of my diffuser is Lysin, and it's linked in my bio. Some of the product lines that I love include Inner Sense, Living Proof, I'm trying to think, Weedad has some really good products. I love the Lush brand gel. Just starting to lean into my wavy curly hair, affordable, easy starter products. I'm not always the best person to ask for affordable product recommendations. First of all, I haven't used a lot of drugstore products. That's just the reality. I haven't used a lot of drugstore products. I haven't experimented with a lot of drugstore products. Second of all, I'm a hairstylist. I would say avoid Shea Moisture. If you are going to use drugstore products, straight up, don't use Shea Moisture. They are like the worst offenders. Their products are very heavy and have a tendency for their oils to sit on top of your hair. Even like the Shea Moisture deep conditioners, they will leave your hair more dry than before you use them. I'm sure there are great drugstore products out there. Shea Moisture is not one of them. Cantu, another, don't use it. Do your research. There are some great Facebook groups out there that can recommend affordable products. I'm not that person because my experience is with salon quality products. So I can recommend great products for you. They're not going to be super affordable because that's just not where my expertise lies. The products that I have a lot of experience with are the ones that I use in the salon. I brush my hair with a Denman brush before washing. Is that okay? It's the only time I brush my hair. What kind of Denman brush? If you're talking about this is not a detangling brush. So don't use this to detangle your hair. Get a detangling brush. This intentionally has a lot of resistance. It is meant for styling. You can break your hair and cause a lot of damage by detangling your hair with this. Now, of course, you can do it really gently. If you're doing it really gently, you're probably not causing a lot of... Oh, well then if you're using a detangling Denman brush, yeah, that's fine. And anyone who says you should never, ever detangle dry hair, everyone's hair is different. Your hair does not speak for everyone's hair. This is the Life In hair dryer. There's a link in my bio, guys. You can go check it out. I absolutely love it. It's got a heat cycling mode that automatically cycles between a cold and high heat mode. I use a Dyson in the salon, and this is not made for commercial use, so I don't use Life In the salon, but I love it. I would not necessarily dry detangle hair that is super damaged by lightener, unless it is also impossibly tangled, and in which case it might need to be detangled at every single step. It might need to be dry detangled. It might also need to be detangled with deep conditioner. It might also need to be detangled with shampoo. Like, it might need to be detangled at every step. And hair like that, just otherwise it can get matted. So again, like, some people like just make blanket statements like that you can't dry detangle hair without knowing other hair types. Your haircut is so cute. Would I ask for lots of layers to get the same haircut? No. You should show pictures of what you want. Never ask for a haircut. Show pictures of what you want. Lots of layers could look like so many different things. Like, so many different things. Especially if you're going to, like, a straight hairstylist. Lots of layers could look like the longest layer is only 2 inches longer than the shortest layer. That is lots of layers to a stylist who cuts straight hair. And that's not what I have. I have a lot bigger difference in my layering than that. So I technically have a potato cut. But there's other ways to cut it. You don't need to go to a potato cut stylist to get a cut that looks like this. You know what I mean? So So I would go on Pinterest, type in descriptors that describe your hair type. So if you have fine, low density hair, type in fine, low density curly cut. Fine, low density wavy curly cut. You know, type in things that describe your hair, and then scroll through until you find cuts that inspire you. And then show those pictures to your hairstylist. But you guys see how long I hold the hair dryer in each position, right? You have a wolf cut, is that the same? Not quite, it's similar. A wolf cut is a little bit shaggier. Mine is going to be more rounded layers. also, again, like, what asking for your haircut is going to be less helpful than showing pictures. As the hair gets a little bit more dry, so I like to hold my positions the longest while the hair is soaking wet. As the hair gets more dry, technically I can move the blow dryer a little bit more because the hair is a little bit less fragile. For anybody who has just joined recently, my name is Gal. I'm a hairstylist. I work in a curly hair salon. What I'm doing right now is called pixie diffusing. So with pixie diffusing, you want to hold your positions for long enough that you're not creating frizz because hair is incredibly fragile when it's still wet. Yeah, so the products that I use today, the first product that I use, so you typically want to use a base product and a topper product, okay? My base product is called Mela and Pura Exquisite Blowout Cream, and I use that instead of a curl cream. And so that product is going to be moisture, a little bit of protein, and because it's a cream product, it's very lightweight. It's going to give me that frizz control that I want, okay? And so I use quite a bit of that. I would say like a teeny size amount, maybe. And I apply that all over to soaking wet hair. So I started with that blowout cream, love it because it has fantastic heat protection built into it, but it's also very, very lightweight. I'm totally obsessed with that blowout cream. It's fantastic for my hair. The next product that I went in with was actually a mousse. This is not the lightest mousse in the world, but it is nice for my hair because my hair is not fine. My hair is like medium with some slightly on the coarser side pieces, but it's not, I don't have coarse hair. It's a soft defining mousse by Weedad. So this is going to give me a little bit of hold. The nice thing about mousse, if you've ever worked with mousse, is it helps the hair to clump, right? So I add mousse all over, and then I went in, so that's one of my toppers, and then the other topper is Intersense I Create Definition. I went in with about 5 pumps of Intersense I Create Definition. And those are the products that I use today. Now the reason I use I Create Definition and not only a mousse is because when you just use mousse, one, you don't get very much shine. It's typically flat and matte. Nothing wrong with that. Some people's hair naturally has no shine and it's just a flat finish. But my hair does naturally have shine, so I like to stick with that. And two, mousse I find doesn't give me as much frizz control and longevity, like defining power, lasting hold, as something like I Create Definition by Intersense or a gel would give me. So to make sure that I get longevity out of my style, I don't want to use a mousse on its own. I find mousses on their own aren't going to give me great frizz to hair. So you can see the cast that we have from the I Create Definition. A nice shiny cast. So we did 5 pumps of eye create definition. That is a lot of eye create definition. A lot of people only need 1 or 2 or maybe 3 pumps of that product. My hair can handle quite a bit of product. If you've got high density hair, maybe you're going to use more, maybe you're going to use like 7 or 8 pumps of it. But if you don't have high density hair, the most I've ever used of it is 7 for someone who doesn't have high density hair, and that was like a lot. And there's a lot of people out there that I only use 1.5, 2, 3 pumps on. Okay, we're almost dry. So I switched it to a medium heat just because I'm getting impatient. Up until now I had it on the heat cycling mode. Now, because my hair is like 99% dry at this point, and I've got a pretty strong cast. Like you can see how shiny and like casted my hair is. At this point, if your hair is dry, you can break the cast, okay? This is the eye create definition, creates that like super, super strong cast. Oh my God, my hair never casts so strongly. My hair doesn't love mousse, or I use too much product maybe. Could I just do a base plus eye create definition, or could you recommend a gel? Yeah, absolutely. You can use eye create definition without a mousse. You can do any combination of products that you want. Every head of hair is so unique. My hair doesn't do well with just a cream and then eye create definition, but that's just my hair. I use eye create definition all the time in the salon on people's hair with just a curl cream as a base. Is it OL, what does that mean? To dry the same way with a Dyson. Is it okay, I think you mean? With no heat cycling. Yes, you don't need to use, if your blow dryer does not have a heat cycling mode, you just use, if you're pixie diffusing, use like the lowest heat setting that you have, and you should be fine. By the way, don't use cold air. Some people use cold air to diffuse your hair, which is fine. You can do that, especially if your hair dries super fast, that's fine. But when you're diffusing your hair, if you're using a good quality diffuser, the whole point of diffusing your hair is that there's almost no airflow. So if you're diffusing your hair with almost no airflow and cold air, you're air drying your hair. You might as well just air dry. You need some heat, otherwise you're just air drying. Use heat protectant and you should be fine. Yes, so in the salon with the Dyson, I just use the lowest heat setting, like the low heat, not cold, but the low heat setting. Okay guys, so this is my casted hair. We're now gonna break it. I don't typically use like an oil or anything. If I was at the salon, I don't own it, but I would spray my hair. Actually, I would have done it a little while ago while my hair was still damp with Hair Prep Love by Intersense, but I don't have that here. I'm just gonna scrunch my hair to break that cast. Ah, it feels so good. Do you recommend, after washing and conditioning the hair, to rinse your hair out with cold water? I personally don't believe that it makes enough of a difference for it to matter. But I know that that's a hot take. And there are lots of hairstylists who believe vehemently that it does matter. So it's going to depend on the hairstylist that you ask. If you think that it matters, then you should do it. You can try it with your hair and see if you feel like it makes a difference. What speed you use on your hair dryer is going to depend on your hair. If you find using, and on your blow dryer, if you find using a high speed blows your hair around too much and makes it frizzy, you have to turn your blow dryer down. Some people need to start with a lower airflow when their hair is more wet, and they can turn the airflow up a little bit when their hair gets a little bit more dry and is casted. So it's just going to depend on your hair. I use it on a high airflow and I'm fine with my hair, but it's going to depend on your hair. So guys, that with the eye cream definition, I was able to just use my hands to break that cast, and now I'm going to finish just using my hair. Because sometimes when you break the cast, you reveal like a little bit of dampness in the center of the hair. Until now, I was really holding positions with the blow dryer for a long time, like 10, 15 seconds. Now, I'm literally breaking the cast. So once the hair is dry, it is far less fragile. We don't need to be as practiced with the hair. We're literally breaking the cast. Like, it's okay if I move the blow dryer a little bit more. I don't typically recommend products for my lives because I need to know a lot more information about your hair. I can tell you some of my favorite shampoos and conditioners are Living Proof and 9-Cara. Living Proof specifically has some products that are very targeted to fine hair. So I create definition, will keep definition past day one for the most part. I'm so intrigued by this stuff. Oh yeah, for sure. But again, guys, everybody's hair is so different, and this is why I don't recommend specific styling products for specific people in my lives. Because I don't know anything about Yessie with AJ. I don't know anything about your hair. So I can't tell you for sure that it's a great product for your hair. There's no product that is universally perfect for everybody, right? It is a very cool product. Some people, like for example, some people with, there's a lot of people with eye cream definition, they need to, if they're using it, they can't use it on the face only. It needs to be layered with another gel, or with like a lotion or a gelée. Or a mousse. Like with my hair, I cannot use it on its own. I need to layer it over a mousse. And then there's other people I've worked with that I need to layer it over a gel on their hair. Otherwise, the hair won't clump. So for people with more oh yeah, there's no such thing as a product that works on all types of hair. Okay. Oh! Oh, look at the hair. I think sometimes they label it for all types, and what they mean by that is it will work for some hair of all types. You know, like, which is fair. Like, it will work for some types of fine hair, some types of coarse hair. Oh my goodness, I missed a lot of comments. I watch your lives all the time and I feel like your hairstyle is pretty similar. Nice. Can you recommend any hair masks 10 pounds and under? I'm a hairstylist, so most of the products I work with and that I have experience with are on the more expensive side, unfortunately. So I just don't have experience with more affordable products. And I don't use them on my hair, so I'm not trying to be malicious there. I just don't have experience with those products. But there are so many great creators who do make content like that, and that's where I would go for those recommendations. Yeah. Okay. Should I get a fringe again? Should I get a fringe? Is the forehead wanting a fringe? That's what I want to know. I use hairstyles grade products, but sometimes I need cheaper ones. Yeah, I totally get that. Everybody's budget is different. Those ones are so good, but I break the bank, and I totally get that. And the truth is, the masks are often the most expensive products. Like in Canada, a lot of our masks, the salon grade masks, these days can range like $50 to $60 Canadian, which is very, very expensive. Now, the masks will last you a year, right? They last a very, very long time, maybe more than a year. Well, I mean, technically they expire eventually, but they last forever. They're full of, in my opinion, the products that it makes the most sense to spend money on is going to be your clarifying shampoo, your deep conditioner, your mask. Because if you're in a position that you can, because the health of your hair is what is going to make your hair easier to style. Your hair might not need Olaplex, right? But, and also the other thing I would say is if you have a budget, be very frank with your hairstylist. Be like, this is my budget. This is, today I can buy one product. And I have this much to spend. Don't just say I can buy one product. Be like, I can buy one product and I have this much to spend. Because then they'll try and find a substitute for the product they were going to recommend to you within the salon that might be less expensive. Like if I know somebody only has, $30 to spend and I was going to recommend this product, well, there might be another salon grade product that I can recommend to them that's slightly less expensive. And if I know you have a budget, like I don't care if you have a budget, it doesn't matter to me. It's normal. It's normal that you have a budget. It doesn't tell me anything about your household finances. You could be making $500,000 a year and still have a budget for your hair products. You know what I mean? It's totally normal. So just be honest, and it will help us make appropriate recommendations for you that will help you get the healthiest hair possible. That would be my recommendation. Okay, we made our little brush curls a little too chonky, but they're just gonna keep reforming, just like I told you, so it's almost not even worth it to break them up, but I'm gonna break them up anyways. Okay, Marilyn, guys, Marilyn wants me to get bangs. Should I get a fringe? She wants, but it's like my hair lately has been wanting to. It's been wanting to fringe it up. It's been wanting to do this. It's kind of cute though, eh? It's kind of cute. The problem is these pieces fall so flat, like they get so straight, versus when I'm like, I feel like it's gonna bug me less when they're just like, when I can push them to the side. These products are so good. Like my hair has been so much better. The deep treatment that I've been doing, speaking of expensive deep treatments, but that are totally worth it. Somebody was asking where my salon is. I work in Ottawa, Canada at a salon called Curlology. It's linked to my bio in Carp, Ontario. It's so cute. It's just like, it's a very nice salon, very small though. We only have 4 chairs. We only have 3 stylists, myself, one other stylist, and the salon owner. Living Proof is where I got it's a living proof mask that I got at our salon called Weightless Mask. So if you're looking for a treatment mask that is very, very lightweight, great for fine hair or medium hair or hair just that is easily weighed down, but that has strengthening properties and frizz control and moisture properties. Going into winter, if your hair is suddenly misbehaving and suddenly frizzier than usual or just like giving you a hard time, you probably need to do a treatment. Okay, that's what was going on with my hair. My hair was suddenly so frizzy, the halo frizz was out of control. I'm like, look at this. You might also need to change your products up for winter. But I did this mask twice and I switched up my products and no more halo frizz. No more halo frizz. So happy. So happy. See if we can turn this light on for a little bit better visibility. But yeah, no more halo frizz. Maybe a little bit, but not too bad. So I could shake this out for a little bit more volume, but lately my day one hair, I like to like leave it a little bit more defined. And then for day two, I add texture spray under here, and I go for really big hair on day two. But day one, I leave it like a little bit more defined to help me get more longevity out of the style. So this is where I leave it for day one. How's the back looking? Oh, actually the back is looking really good, other than this one really chunky curl that I just need to break up. Oh my god, okay, so doing a separate section where I add the eye create definition just to this top back section helped so much. I'm so happy with that. Okay, I think usually I put this on the other side. I don't know how it ended up on this side today, but it's gonna drive me nuts. Anyways, apparently I have a side part today. Okay. Thanks for joining my live, guys. I go live every single Wednesday at 7:15 a.m. If you are interested in getting information about appointments, you can always send me a DM on Instagram or TikTok. I'm a hairstylist. I work in Ottawa, Canada, and I work in a curly hair salon. First time curly cut appointments also include curl coaching. So we are all about education in our salon. We want to make sure that when you leave your first time appointment, you not only have gorgeous hair, gorgeous curls, gorgeous waves, whatever it may be, but you also have the information and the toolkit to know how to go and recreate that once you get home. That's what we're all about at our salon, at Curlology. Well, thank you so much for joining the live today, and if you can't come see me in salon, don't worry, I go live every Wednesday and I post my recorded lives on YouTube and on Instagram to Reels. Just check out one of the Reels that says live on the cover. Thanks guys, have a great day and happy holidays if you celebrate a holiday this time of year.